Hey, now we're here at Fort Lucero. We're about to have a General Assembly.
How old are you? Like 8?
No, how to say
You're in 4th grade? You're 8? You're young for 4th grade.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that because you're so smart? Is that because you're very smart? Is that why?
But your birthday's in September, right?
No.
This little girl, man, she's
I'm too mature. That's what you're trying to say?
yes.
I know.
So what are you gonna be when you grow up?
Vet or something?
Oh yeah.
A vet?
Singer or something?
You like animals.
Animals keep you happy. For reasons. I don't know.
How about a good attorney? A good one.
The world needs more of those.
No, but a good one. They need a good one, right?
Yeah.
What's
Have you heard of the people's? Have you heard of the People's College?
Be a foreclosure lawyer. We don't have any of those.
Yeah. You guys never heard
the
of
president or an astronaut.
People's College? People's College is over here in downtown LA, and that's where a lot of these politicians go and get a law degree. And what they do is actually they cut all the stuff that you don't need to learn. Basically, they just speed up the things. So you can actually, become a lawyer like in no time. The only thing is, they don't charge you a lot, but you have to.
Great, that's perfect. That's perfect.
What if I get eaten by
The hook to
birds?
this is that you have to work with the community. They help you get your degree, but it will be a community attorney type of thing. Oh, thank you. Huh?
Oh, I forgot my tea.
My big,
Gotcha.
with my big
That's pretty good, huh?
We need to get back.
From Lincoln Heights?
Where's my tea?
Yeah.
Did he go to 9? Stop it. You like bacon, I know, but. Come on, yeah, y'all.
I'm right here. I'm just posting pictures.
I was supposed to
Hey,
go actually.
lad. Do you want to moderate?
Do I want to moderate? I can moderate.
Okay. Hey, Vlad's gonna moderate. Okay.
Hi, Russell. We're here at Fort Lucero. We're gonna have our General Assembly any minute now. If you guys want to tweet that out, that would be awesome. Post it on your Facebook. GA with the world watching, isn't that hot?
Okay, so maybe we should just start with the International Day of Action.
Okay, whatever.
Do you want to talk about that on live stream? I mean, why not? I mean, we already posted it.
Oh, you did?
We already started talking about it on Facebook, so.
Yeah, but we're not gonna give this.
We just got the date. I mean, that's really, we can do specific later.
Right.
But if we can put out the call and pick a date as to what our specifics are.
Yeah.
It's very close to a flute. It looks a lot like a piccolo and or a lyre.
GA!
Now he's just crying.
Anyone?
No, I'm not.
What do we put on the agenda? At the top is it just set a date for the International Day of Action against Deutsche Bank. So that we can put out the call. Tomorrow's schedule.
We should have our G.
And
Entire GA. It'd be really good practice. You would do it for 7 hours.
tomorrow's schedule is supplies and food recovery.
Let me know when we get to that topic. So.
Can we get can we talk about an update on complaints, Lucero's complaints? We need to know what we have if anybody has
I
complaints.
just saw the consumer division go back with a phone number that we can call for assistance.
It's like such a good song. It's like what
But actually, you could do it online. You could do
Play it again. Play it
I
again.
need to know if we we started that or not. If not, that's something that we can need to work on.
Okay.
Right.
There's picture posted.
No, setting a time for tomorrow's GA. Wake up call.
Oh, and Maravilla.
Maravilla.
Which I was asked by the newspaper which part of the Belvedere Park we have in the
Picnic area. The barbecue area.
that's in this side.
It's by First Street. Entry.
Okay, is it on where the lake is?
Frankie!
Thank you for the tweet, guys.
Degreasing the chicken soup.
Degreasing the chicken soup.
Degreasing.
That sounds like a chore. Decreasing the chicken soup.
Okay, well, is everyone at GA that wants to? Can we get everyone at GA? Is there anyone?
Okay, GA started.
What?
Starting GA.
GA.
Who seconds it? I second it.
You second what? Start?
No,
There's no
we already passed the
We're all
motion.
equal here.
I'm ready to.
GA. It's great. It's good to get things discussed.
Original songs, original
I
lyrics.
ain't glad. There is.
I am, yeah. I'm in the live stream,
Yep.
GA.
I'm your stacker for tonight. Vlad will be your moderator.
Yay, Vlad.
And
Yay,
welcome
Jeff.
to Fort Lucero, GA. Isn't that right, Vlad?
If you're gonna sit down, I'm gonna sit over.
I'm gonna hover till Vlad sits
All right.
down.
Finally got it. All right. Let's first make sure we have everything on the agenda. It's good. It's good. It's backwards. Okay. So.
Okay.
I'm second.
Can you add another thing on the agenda?
Okay.
I was approached by Ace today, and they asked him support for the family that has the lady, handicapped lady that's being evicted, that has also cancer.
Where is this in Whittier?
Southgate,
Southgate.
Casas. Huh? I just got to bring it up.
Okay.
You know, and see what the people think.
All right. So what I have so far is International Day of Action. Tomorrow, schedule and supplies. Update with Lucero complaints. Maravilla, Ace, and the set of time for tomorrow's GA. Anything else? Am I missing anything else? No. All right. Let's get started. So, who's gonna get on stack for International Day of Action?
Okay, I got Alyssa.
We need to set a date for the International Day of Action against Deutsche Bank. I have two different ideas. There is nothing planned for the 5th of November. We've been talking about this date a lot, but if we do that, then our brothers and sisters might have problems standing in solidarity because they do have a lot of things planned for the 5th of November. The occupation here wanted Saturday the 3rd, but the problem is which we're not going to talk about our target is closed on that day. Off is pushing for us to move to the 2nd because it's a Friday, but the argument against that is people who work won't be able to make it to that action. So if we do the 2nd, I know this occupation would like to also do something on the 5th of November, and whatever, I'll say it on the live stream. So we'd like to host a contest. So the option is to do something on the 2nd, and then on the 5th of November, host a contest between all occupations, alliances, affinity groups, grandparents. We'd like to host how many banks can you shut down day, and then all converge together. Have all the different groups and keep up with it. Like we could keep up with how many banks we're shutting down and just do a plan of attack across the city, and ask other people to join us. And then just all converge together in one place, whether that's BFA Plaza or whatever is up for options. So that's the two things. So either we do this on the 5th of November, where we can get a lot of people with us because we don't have anything here but the call for solidarity, maybe over that week or whatever, or we do this on the 3rd and or 2nd and try and do another action for the 5th of November where we do in mass bank shutdowns everywhere we can because we like to shut down banks.
Can I reply to
Carlos is next.
Yeah. The only concern on that on the fifth, and I think, you know, we will support anything that has to do with shutting down banks. The only concern is that when is the election?
6th.
The sixth. We're afraid that that's really going to we're going to really shoot on our foot on that because nobody's going to be paying attention to this. That's what we really need to think about and really contemplate whether that's going to be a good action or not because of the elections. I'm afraid that that's going to take a lot from everybody, but you know, anybody that's willing to go there and stand in front of the bank, I'm willing to go with them. Doesn't matter. But I think all of us feel like that. You, I agree with. I talked to Benji earlier and a couple other people here regarding the proposal for the Saturday day of action, and that way it will involve more people because the working families and the working people that want to participate, it will be a good opportunity for them. I think it's great, sounds good. However, the the concern will be that number one, the banks are closed. Number two, again, this is election time. A lot of people are involved into doing phone banking and doing all this stuff. So it may work and it may not. The elections is a key thing that we really have to think about. Even if we do it on a Friday, the elections may take away a lot of the attention that we want to put on Dutch Bank because the media is not going to be focused on this. The media is focusing on the elections period. So we need to think about that. We need to really. We're gonna spend a lot of energy on this, and it's okay. I think even if we don't get the result that we want, we went out there and did what we need to do, and we can always come back and do it another day again. So uh, let's think about you know what is going to take the logistics and if it's worth us spending that much energy and time on those 2 days, or should we wait right after the elections and come back with a very strong uh, day of action?
Okay, I got Frankie with the direct response.
Well, actually, I really agree with everything that Carlos mentioned right now. The whole media attention is not going to be focused on us, but regardless, I think we really need to do it. I mean, he commented that we could probably come back later with a much stronger action, but I think if we do it once, that will already get everybody pumped up to want to do it again. So I think for the sake of getting all of our spirits up and not being so down, we need to do action regardless. So us as individuals could feel that solidarity, and the second time around, it'll be that much stronger.
I got well, you already spoke, so I guess it's time to Vlad, and then I'll let you directly respond.
Something that may accommodate both approaches would be to perhaps do something local sooner and try to get the local community involved in that, maybe shutting down a bank here. It's something that can be announced tomorrow or not necessarily, but the dialogue can be started with the community that's at Maravilla and then do another action later that can be organized and targeted directly at Deutsche Bank. Because I think the getting into their face, speaking to someone, or having a door shut in our face is something very powerful that we can then use to put pressure on Deutsche Bank directly. For example, we could do this in front of the German consulate, or we could try to go downtown and speak with somebody in the office downtown, and we could have the activists outside, and then just the strike crew to go with the cameraman, and get that type of footage.
Okay. I got Carlos with direct response, and then
Uh, we do have the interest from the German media. If we do an action, especially if we do it at the consulate embassy, I think it's important. We did pass a consensus at the off meeting on Thursday regarding having an action against Dutch Bank for next week. So I don't think did we set up a date?
No, we said we'd discuss it on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll discuss it on Sunday. So Sunday is going to be a day of planning for us regarding doing an action. We can, if we come out with a date tonight, we can basically bring that up to the meeting as well on Sunday and get the people from off to participate, in a stronger way. So, as you know, off is a lot of homeowners, so we could get that support.
Okay, I got visuals and then what's up?
Cool. Yeah, I was thinking exactly what Vlad was thinking while we were saying that about the community, and having a community march would not only tie more attention to this home specifically, but it would allow other members of the community to be aware of what's going on here and marching to a bank. And I would suggest like with like horns with like music and doing this like Mexicans themed sort of parade to the bank, basically, and then picking up community members and the local community groups and kids along the way. So I think that would be a lot more relevant to what's happening here and less because when you say shut down banks, to me that means everybody's definitely getting arrested, and that's what that means to me. Or or it becomes a publicity thing where you're standing out front of the bank and you're handing flyers out, you're putting signs up, you're protesting in front of the bank. There's going to be a police officer that's at the bank already, and then they're going to say you can't obstruct the entrance way to this bank, and if you do, then you're either going to you should be prepared to to deal with that. So it's going to be a one-time thing, and I agree with you that like it's probably better to do it later than on election day. But the final thing is just, is there somebody who's doing PR who's like who's trying to reach out to reporters? That's just basically emailing reporters, because that's what there should be a working group that's basically just emailing this story to different reporters and newspapers.
Well, if we do an action, can I reply?
Yeah.
If we do an action, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah,
Alex,
that's like his
you were
question.
first.
Yeah, that's a point of process. I wanted to say, since you're new to it, I was gonna have some mercy, but I wanted Alyssa to go next.
Yes.
A bank shut down doesn't necessarily mean arrest. Like, we literally picket outside of a bank and they lock the doors. I mean, it's one of the easiest things in the world for us to do. And if we did it as like a contest, it would spread the corporate state's resources really thin, and they wouldn't know where to find us anyway. It is not necessarily about publicity. What it is about is attacking them where they're attacking these communities, which is in their purse. And so every time they shut down a bank, they're losing business time. Every time they lose business time, they're losing money. And so that's the purpose of these bank shutdowns, and to kind of let them know that so long as they engage in these racist, classist, predatory practices, we're going to cost them money. And that's the end of it. And their investors know that as well. So long as we're at one of these forts, so long as Deutsche Bank is hurting these communities and continuing their racist practices, which get back to, I don't know, when they funded the Gestapo in Auschwitz, we're going to shut them down. And that's kind of how it's used. And as for our press working group, we don't have a strong press working group yet. I really think that so long as the media is ignoring foreclosure fraud, we continue to build social media and steal their audience, because we know people are interested in this, and we know that they're not covering it because the banks are their clients. And the same thing with them, so long as they don't respect democracy and give objective media that's about the people and for the people, which is the only way you can have democracy, we continue to create our own media and pretend as if they don't exist.
Okay, I got Sal next. I just wanted to say, like, if we're gonna be doing trading Spain style, like, at the same time we could, like, somehow involve, like, the bank transfer day idea, like, getting people to switch to credit unions instead of working with big banks. Bring that into, like, doing these actions.
Okay, I got Busal and then Vlad.
I was just gonna say that bank transfer day is exactly like that's really where that I think that's where it's at. Is people are like transferring their money out of the bank.
Okay. Alright, I got Vlad.
I'd like to make the point that the shutting down of banks is not in any way counterproductive to putting direct pressure on Deutsche Bank, because media against Deutsche Bank is what will put pressure on the CEO. That's what he hates, and that's what we want him to feel. We want him to not want to have this bothering him and causing him to lose business. So we should do both. That's what I'm saying.
Not yet. She's just.
Um,
I got Megan, Alyssa, Carlos, and then
No, Matt.
Matt. Yeah, progressive stat. And Carlos. Um,
I think we need to look at it as the media is just not going to show. So then that should be our point. Is no, I mean just we got to start. I mean, come on. But still, we got to look at it as they're not going to show. So how are we going to affect this bank and get their attention without the media? Because then if the media shows, then that's just a double bonus. I mean, but as we saw for the October 1st event, which was massive, awesome, media really wasn't there.
okay, I got Alyssa. Or I got Matt and then Alyssa.
Yeah, I just everything that's been said so far, I totally agree with, but I still feel like who at the headquarters of Deutsche Bank is living in Los Angeles, that we can get their addresses and make them just as vulnerable to exploit as the families and the communities that they're representing. So like we've got. I feel it would be. I think it'd be making an even more impressive point to make the addresses and the homes and the properties of these high-ranking Deutsche Bank and various other banks, just make them vulnerable and show up on their doorstep, and share with their neighbors who they are.
Can I just say emergency? Like, could you mute Patty the live stream?
Strategy is something that we can talk about, whether or not it's like individuals or whatever we're doing. But I just think that we should set a date. Like,
It's
I
not muted.
like shutting down banks on the 5th because while everyone's like politically motivated and they're going to the polls, a bunch of banks are going to get shut down, and it's like this fight had never ended. Like, nothing ever changed. Your politicians never spoke about it. These banks are being sued right now, but they are not being. No criminal charges are being brought up against them, and the people who make money only have to pay money to get out of what they've done, and that's not justice. It's just not. It should be handcuffs, not lawsuits. And the reality is, if charges were pressed against these banks, their assets would be seized. They would get a lot more money than $1 billion out of Bank of America. So it's like continuing to press that issue, I think, on the 5th of November, the night before elections, whether or not the media sees us, like, fuck the media. They're just a reaffirmation of the corporate estate, and they're run by it. So we should just focus on bringing people's attention back to that, and then maybe we could do the Deutsche Bank action after it. we should look at what Fort Hernandez is doing. They have 2 actions planned, so like if we can like maybe squeeze in and do like 5 business days of actions against the banks or whatever we want to do, if we do it after the elections, like I don't know, does everything die down on the 8th or the 9th?
We can make a big
Okay, I got Carlos next.
Yeah, we need to set up the date no matter what tonight. Uh, it's specific. We got to be very specific on the target and specific at what we want to achieve out of that. And I think Glad is so right. It's the embarrassment that the Dutch bank doesn't want to have, especially when we have a message, specific message. Dutch bank breaking U.S. laws. Dutch bank evicting American families. You know, I mean, the message is going to be important, but the date is going to be most important, I think, because we really got to think. Yes, we cannot depend on the media, but when we create our own media, that has that takes it's a big advantage. One of the things that I remember on one of my conversations with one of the CEO's office when I was talking about one of the homeowners, they quoted me what one of the homeowners had been saying on one of the videos on YouTube. Says, well, she said this, and I'm like, get out of town. You know what I mean? They listening. So even if the media don't show up and we create our own media, we put our stuff out, they are listening. People are listening out there. So we move full force with or without the media, and but we got to be specific on a target. On a date is very important, I think.
I got Megan.
Did you raise your hand?
Yeah. Is it muted?
If you like, I'll mute.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and put myself on stack, and also try to avoid myself shadow moderator, and try to take a check on putting the date for our action. Um, for those who want a temperature check, or for those who want it on the 5th of November, I need a temperature check whether or not people want it on the 5th or on a different day. So temperature check on the 5th.
What's the other date?
I don't know yet. That's what I'm trying to.
Why not?
Does anyone know Fort Hernandez's date so that we don't
November 9th.
The 9th.
They have the 9th and the 11th, don't they? They have 2 actions, right?
11th? That's a Friday and a Sunday. Huh? On a Friday and a Monday.
I just need to know when the election is.
So the 8th.
November 6th.
6th, yes, it's 6th.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
An action on election day?
No.
I think it makes sense to actually have it on election day because you're not expecting to have any
What
media
is
coverage
that?
anyway. So like you're gonna make your own media coverage. So why not just say no matter who gets elected, no matter what the outcome of today is, like this is still gonna go on, and do your shotgun approach to every bank. See how many banks you can shut down. I'm not sure about the losses or whatever. I see it more as a symbolic statement towards the bank.
Point of process. I'm sorry, I gotta call this. We're taking a temperature check right now on whether or not we're gonna have this on the 5th.
Okay.
He's bringing up a suggestion for another date, Jeff.
Yeah.
He's talking about
The
election
6th.
date. That's
It's the
relevant.
6th.
I know it's kind of relevant, but not on
No,
deciding
the
whether we're gonna have
8th.
it on the 5th.
I think the 8th is another good day because you have the elections on the 6th. People go to sleep on the 7th. They wake up on the 8th, and half the people are pissed off about who's in office.
Stick to your plan.
Okay, so temperature check on not having it on the 5th.
No.
I guess
Having it on the 5th.
we're having it on the 5th.
No, temperature check if we are or not.
Temperature check if we're having it on the 5th or not.
I have a question on that.
Nobody? Nobody wants to have it on the 5th. So temperature check if we do not want to have it on the 5th.
I have a question on that. May I?
I'm taking a temperature check.
Well,
So
let him answer first if it's
Yeah.
happening.
Would that be specifically to all the banks or to Dutch Bank?
Deutsche Bank.
I'll go for it.
Temperature check on Deutsche Bank being on
November?
What day is that? That's a Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before the election?
Can I have a concern?
Whatever gets it.
Why don't we do it
Fuck
right
the
after
elections. My biggest concern is that we're calling for international solidarity and especially raising awareness in Germany because the people in Germany are going to get more pissed off about this than the people in America. It's November 5th is a big day for Occupy, period. So this is like a really not giving people enough time for that solidarity call, and they already have plans and other things they want to do to remember the 5th of November. I'd like to propose the 8th and still do bank shutdowns on the 5th of November and see how many other people would like to compete in our little race to see how many banks they could shut down on that day.
Okay, so temperature check on Alyssa's proposal. Who's down, who's not? Okay, remember the 5th of November.
Okay, so November 5th is bank shutdown day.
They could follow hashtag SDD if everyone's down with that. Shutdown day. You don't want to catch that.
Okay, that's gonna be November 5th.
SDD. You don't want to catch it.
And that's going to be all the banks, not just one.
You can, but but we should let them know. We should have this, we're here because the Deutsche Bank or whatever, like make a couple of signs so that those banks know that we're pissed. And these are the people who pissed us off. And they're going to pay for it.
Okay. Oh, I got you next. You want something to say?
It'd be nice if, because you guys are talking about Miriam, it'd be nice if Mr. Lucero is invited to, and maybe they get excited because Mr. Lucero is going to be there. I mean, because it's,
Should we ask the Luceros? I know they're, if the 5th and the 8th work for them. Like, I don't know if they have work on those days, so we should.
They'd be okay with it. Because they told me
The
they.
7th is the
Why
creditors
is
meeting, but that's.
I have why am I forgetting everybody's name?
It's okay, I do it too. Patty.
But why the 8th?
Patty.
Because it's after the elections.
Why not now?
Because Fort Hernandez is something the 8th to Thursday.
I have you on stack when I find you. That means I have
Okay.
So we're like in solidarity action.
And you get 4 days of actions within a week. It feels good, keep the train.
We're trying to obey stack here. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
got Patty.
Is it my turn? Okay. I have Russo from Global Rev on live stream, and they're saying that December 21st is Global Debt Action Day called Global Jubilee 2012, and they just want to let us know about that.
Okay.
So.
All right, we know. All right, Vishal.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
I guess I'm just curious. I think that's great. I think that day of debt awareness is really important. But the 5th of November, right? The Guy Fawkes Day is from 1605, right? So why would we be like remembering this? Like, I know like it's a catchy rhyme, but like it seems like the 6th, the day of the election, which gives one more day, and also is a symbolic statement towards saying that no matter who is in office right now, that this is a problem that neither one of these candidates who will become the president of the United States is going to address.
Right.
Seems much more powerful than a 1605 limerick that like a bunch of Occupy people are really into and wear a bunch of masks on. You know what I mean?
I have a direct response. We've already consented on the 5th of November, so that's
I mean,
I'm
just saying for symbolic purposes.
I'll say beyond that, like what my logic was behind that is that going into the voting booths, they'll be maybe thinking about something different. On the 6th, people are already going to be present in those voting booths. So if the night before, the day before, we're busy shutting down banks and like people across the city have seen their bank shut down or they're talking about it, it'll be in a couple people's minds at those booths as to whether or not what they're doing is even legitimate.
okay. I got the Leslie next.
I really enjoyed bank transfer day last year. I thought that like what Occupy did for that was great, and I really wanted something to be done this year, but like unfortunately, the truth of the matter is a lot of the groups that organized with us last year don't want to organize with us anymore. So to make it that big of an event, and what I had envisioned for like the 5th of November would be like some of those groups that are interested in the electoral politics aspect of it to do like to have like a dummy like a cartoony like ballot box, and you're cutting your bank card and put it in there as like your symbolic like vote not vote, you know what I mean, because it's kind of like it doesn't matter who's running for president, like because the banks are running the show, you know what I mean. So I just wanted to kind of like second, I guess, like visual with your what you're talking about, because I think we could link it symbolically to the election. I mean, it would be like a miss, I think, not to. It's great.
Okay, Carlos.
I think that talk about the elections. Why not go in and demonstrate in front of some of these places where people are casting their votes, because they do have media out there focusing on how people are casting their things, and we're gonna be out there saying, excuse my language, F you all, you know what I mean? Both of you guys are not talking about the like he said, like what really interests the people. You know what I mean? You casting your vote, and it's not really mattering because these people have sold out to Wall Street. We can actually take advantage of the elections and the media that is there. We got to pick up the people spots where we know that are going to have a lot of media attention, and focusing on people casting their 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 votes. We could be out there, and we can have our signs, and we are going to be a force saying, you know what I mean, no matter what, this is the fraud continues to go on.
I got a. I'm sorry. Visual with direct response because it takes precedence.
Yeah, so basically, bring what Delesi said. Instead of bringing the election to the banks, bringing the image of the banks to the voting booth. So bringing these facades of like bankers behind bars, and basically the imagery of bad for America, the we're felons, and like that those images with us to the polls is like bringing the financial issue to the voting booth, like so that would basically be what the reverse of what Delesi was saying.
Okay, I got Alyssa.
Yeah.
Um, just just as a note, we would have to be 100 feet from the voting area. Um,
Yards or feet?
100 feet, and I'm I'm not that keen on curtsying to the media. I think focus should remain on continuing to speak to the people the way we speak to the people. Um, I don't know if this is like an amendment to also do an call for actions on election day to raise awareness that bank fraud is not being addressed, or that the Wall Street's criminal practices are not being addressed, and they won't be changed by either of these candidates. Um, so that would make the 5th, the 6th, and the 8th. I don't know if that's
The
what I'm hearing.
ninth and 11th.
The 9th and the 11th. But, and then also we have to think about things like transportation, organization. Like, this could not be propelled all out of this fort, because at the end of the day, we still have to hold down a fort. So it would have to come from very strong organization.
Okay, I got Vlad with the direct response and then Delesi.
Okay, I don't. First of all, ARD, which is the BBC of Germany, has confirmed to Carlos that if we do a direct action against Germany at the consulate, perhaps also at their Deutsche Bank office, they will cover it. So that is a tool that we should not leave unused. Hence, we are not catering to media. We are actually using it against Deutsche Bank. I'm not expecting KTLA or any of the other local stations. I don't care about them, but we need to put pressure on Deutsche Bank. So I think that shutting down the banks is absolutely necessary, and we've actually consented that. But the follow-up action should be directed at Deutsche Bank.
I got Delesi.
I'm totally like down for what you're saying. I mean, I don't know what's being talked about actions on like the sixth, seventh, eighth, like a lot of numbers. I just heard we're like spewed out at the same time or something. I think we just reached consensus on having an action on the fifth. That's where I'm at. So as far as like having an action on the fifth, I wanted to direct response to Visual about doing anything at a poll. Like, even though it is a presidential election, you're gonna see like two people go in there in an hour to the polling place. It's not cracking. It's not where like the people aren't rushing there. I would say that because I like the idea of you know taking advantage of like the electoral aspect of it because it's the day before the election. There's a lot of occupiers who are anti-voting and who are very loud about it, but they don't really have any actions or they don't really do anything about it. And I think that that crowd maybe might be responsive to doing something at maybe like the registrar's office. Like the registrar's office is like where they count the votes. You know what I mean? So you can take that like to over there and be like huge, like at Norwalk as opposed to like one random polling place. I don't know. If you guys wanted to like put that together, I'd be there.
Joel.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear up like where I was coming from with this. Like, it's not about media attention. It's not about like how many people can we get in one space to make the most like for me at least. What I was talking about was in reference to the community, a local community marching action that's like surrounded in Maravilla, where like community people go around from here to like on a route, like with like a parade with like picking up people with noisemakers and going to different symbolic places that mean stuff for the purposes of creating our own media type of broadcasting. So that's basically where I was coming from because we've already just said fuck the media, fuck voting. Like what we want to do is create our own movement that's local, that's community based, that targets banks and that targets this like government election, like the government structure that's been in place. So that was I feel like there was some confusion about what I think like the Deutsche Bank thing is like in the pocket already, so that should be its own day, and that should be like its own thing. That's the Deutsche Bank thing is already in our pocket. It should be its own event, and this symbolic action is a different symbolic action.
Okay, I had something, but direct response takes precedence over what I have to say. And this one's a direct response to Melissa.
So, I when we went to Rampart and Oakland, um, was beat up on Move-In Day. We received a lot of criticism for the way that was executed because we were in a highly populated, undocumented immigrant community marching around doing something very privileged. Um, I like the idea of a march.
When is marching privilege?
Sorry. When in process, no crosstalk. She wasn't done talking.
I like the idea of a march. We are building up to a neighborhood assembly here. I don't know if we have the people power in this community yet to have that call from the community. It would be something nice to do before the assembly, like to build to it. So once we're doing more outreach and we have more events. Um, but I don't really know how to go about this the right way. And I mean, I like it because it's liberating, but it's something that we can do. And despite us thinking that everybody that puts, and I just had this conversation, that walks this land has constitutional rights, that is not the reality. So.
Second, I'm gonna go because direct response is already put in front of me, and then I have Visual after me, then I have you. Um, um, I wanted to say that I like both the idea of being across the street from the polls. Though we won't get mainstream media attention there, we will get the attention of the voters. And I like to friendly amend that after the media coverage at Deutsche Bank on the 5th, that we go to the polls and do sort of
the same or do the polls afterwards. Draw attention at the polls afterwards. Um,
Yeah, no, yeah, election day is November 6th.
oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, but people are voting. But never mind. Um, um, I had Delesi next to the direct response, and then
No, her.
No,
she's direct response.
Okay,
Ladies
sorry.
first.
Apologize.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify the thing about the marching. If we want to talk about doing a march in this area, we're gonna have to get a permit for it because Occupy LA ran into the same problem in the past for May Day for MIGS for the East one, and it's a very legitimate concern that people here are undocumented, and that if we try to do the whole Occupy LA, take the streets, have an unpermitted march, and the sheriffs come through, it could really like endanger local
Sheriffs
community
don't fuck
members.
around.
Sheriffs do not fuck around, especially in East LA. So I mean that's what I want to direct response. I wanted to clarify that that's what the privilege whole thing about marching here is. We need a permit if we're gonna march here.
Okay, I got Vlad with direct response, and
Direct
then
response to the idea of doing actions here with the community. It might be worth consulting Maravilla and the organizers there to see, first of all, how it should be done and just get their opinion. Get them on board.
okay, Vishal.
Yeah, totally agree with what Vlad is saying, and I don't think it's a privilege though. Like marching is not a privileged thing in my eyes. I think if you're undocumented, then and you can get arrested, then wouldn't that so if you go through the community channels and you team up with the community and you there's nothing illegal about marching. I'm not saying
You
like
got a permit.
you're walking on the sidewalk. It's not even. It's like you're publicly assembling. These are like things that you're allowed to do. And I think what you can do is team up with other community people. And I understand that there's like lots of police activity in there, but that in this situation where is actually if the police do incite things, then that's to the advantage of this movement.
Okay, I got Sal and then Carlos.
I just want to respond to that. Like, I mean, we don't have to take the streets because our target is the banks. We could just go directly on the sidewalks, so that way it's not a big commotion and we walk through the sidewalks and go directly into the banks while we're walking. We don't have to take the street. That just causes another problem for us. And taking the sidewalks creates more like attention to the people on the street. Like the big crowd, like it's more organized that way. It's more compact. And it's visible as a big group of people walking down the street. When we walk down down the sidewalk. I think it's better. Like we don't need to get a permit if we're gonna be on the sidewalks. But then
Okay.
again, we'll do their own thing.
Okay, I got Carlos and then Vlad.
Yes, I think Vlad is absolutely right. If we can involve these community people right now, because they like us, they like what we're doing here, and we get them involved into helping make decisions, now they're gonna feel part of this as well, and they can provide with a lot of better information because they know the neighborhood, they know the police. Even though that we understand that it is our right to march down the street and hold a sign or whatever. Unfortunately, things are different in different neighborhoods where police are more tolerant sometimes in LA than in the sheriff's department area, and that's what we have to deal with. So I think that we have to use our heads, we have to use our brain, and yeah, we want to march, we want to do things, but we got to try to win the community, not put them against us.
Okay, Vlad.
I'd like to make a proposal that we consent on the fact that we do. One of our goals is to engage the community and ideally in a direct action, but we need to continue the dialogue some more with Maravilla and other members of the community before we actually set a date and a plan of action.
I have to
I have
archive. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Marissa